Tonight's starting lineup for FC Cincinnati. Number 18, Spencer Ritchie. Number 2, Matt Bonner. Number 21, Michael King. Number 3, Forrest Lasso. Number 23, Blake Smith. Number 13, Mike Raoult. Number 4, Tyler Gibson. Number 19, Corbin Bone. Number 20, Jimmy McLaughlin. Number 45, Manu Ledesma. Number 11, Daniel Penn. And now here.
With their season on the brink, Penn FC tries to stop a two-game slide as they welcome the number 1 team in the USL, FC Cincinnati, tonight on ESPN+. Good evening, everyone, and welcome out to FNB Field here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux. Glad you could join us this evening. Charlie, Penn FC's dropped their last 2 here at home. They desperately need to stop that slide. Not exactly the team you want to see against you when you have to do that.
The premier side of this league, Penn FC, coming off not only 2 losses, but 2 matches in which they didn't score. They've got to turn things around tonight, Brian.
And you see FC Cincinnati right there in the standings, number 1 on the line. 20 wins, just 3 losses, and Penn FC desperately needs a victory in this game. They're not even on that list right now because at number 13, just a step off that board, and they have to get all the way up to number 8 overall. If we take a look at who they've got left to go here, Charlie, Pittsburgh Riverhounds coming up on Wednesday, always a huge game in the Keystone Derby, but after that, Charleston, New York Red Bulls 2, Toronto FC 2. It's a schedule that if they can win tonight, maybe they can build some momentum for the end.
No question. The problem for them is they've got to scramble and get across the line ahead of so many other squads that are currently ahead of them. Tonight is a must-win, or at least a must-get-points situation.
We'll take a look at our players to watch tonight. No question who it is for FC Cincinnati. Number 45, Manu Ledesma, the number 1 player potentially in this league, maybe the favorite for league MVP. He does it all. 13 goals, 15 assists on the season.
One of the reasons they've only lost 3 matches this year, Brian, right there.
Tremendous player he is. And on the other side, number 14 for Penn FC, Richard Menjivar, doesn't get a lot of the press. 5 assists on the season, but he's one of those key guys who really sets things up, sets the table for everybody in front of him.
That's what he does. He's a catalyst, a playmaker, doesn't get the headlines, but makes things happen on the pitch.
It should be an interesting match tonight. FC Cincinnati trying to clinch the number 1 seed overall, can do it as early as Wednesday. They try to take 1 step towards that tonight, and for Penn FC, a desperation time. They need 3 points to win. We'll see what happens as we come back with more of the pregame show after this on ESPN+.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law, but more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
Crooked Hill Townhomes is the official housing partner of Penn FC. The rental community located in Susquehanna Township features 3-bedroom townhomes with attached garages and optional finished basements. The community features 6 beautiful floor plans, a state-of-the-art fitness facility, and an off-leash dog park. For more information on the community, visit www.crookedhillapts.com. Crooked Hill Townhomes, the best in luxury living at Central PA.
across Pennsylvania, families are living their lives in their own homes. Not long ago, none of these families believed it possible. And then they discovered there was someone who could help. What was once only a dream is now a reality. Welcome home.
From Times Square to your local community, from local sports to international conventions, Invika has changed the broadcast and video landscape, bringing professional quality and service to organizations across the globe. Through professional, college-level, and local sports, festivals, competitions, parades, and telethons, conferences, and commercials, Invika is bringing the power of video to more people and markets than ever before. Have a project you need covered? Check out our website for more information. Invika, providing affordable HD video solutions.
Back here at FNB Field, here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux. We're getting set for Penn FC against FC Cincinnati. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. We'll start off with FC Cincinnati. We already talked about Emmanuel Ledesma, Corbin Bone red hot as well, coming off a brace in their victory this past weekend against Toronto FC too. And also Jimmy McLaughlin, the former Harrisburg City Islander, returns to the island with a start here tonight. For Penn FC, Sean Lewis is going to be in goal in place of Ramu Pizer. He's going to get a break. And in the back, Thiago Calvano, Kyle Venter will have a tough task ahead of them, trying to man the back line for Penn FC. Isaac Osei gets the start tonight for Penn FC for head coach Raul Voss. You see him there, the 34-year-old first-year head coach on the bench for Penn FC, trying to help his team stop a two-game slide. On the opposing bench for FC Cincinnati tonight is Alan Koch. He is a 43-year-old head coach, replaced John Harkes, who was the first head coach for FC Cincinnati. And Alan Koch has just propelled this team all the way to the top record in the USL this season. Formerly coached the Vancouver Whitecaps too, back in 2015 and 2016.
Penn FC with their backs to the proverbial wall tonight, Brian. They really need to win tonight's match because the playoff situation has tightened and they've got to climb over a lot of squads in order to get to that 8th position.
FC Cincinnati in the white with the orange trim. Penn FC in their blues with the white trim. We are underway here in Harrisburg. Penn FC and FC Cincinnati. Ball played all the way back to Spencer Ritchie, who has been the keeper of choice for Coach Koch over the second portion of this season, having rested the job over Evan Newton. Started a lot of the games at the beginning of the season. For Newton, this is, and for Ritchie, this is start number 12 on the season, 4 clean sheets in that grouping, and a 1.27 goals against average. Ball played. Forrest Lasso will play it back to his keeper. And that ball is going to be sent up the near sideline and out of play. Throw-in coming up for Penn FC. We see Aaron Dennis, native of the U.S. Virgin Islands. A chance to play with them in the international break in September, and now back with the team trying to regain his scoring pop he had before he left. And Penn FC desperately needs him to do that tonight. Ball played on this near side. FC Cincinnati will play it long, and we see the alternate keeper. This would be for Penn FC. Sean Lewis getting the start between the pipes for Penn FC. For Lewis, this is just his 6th start of the season for Lewis. 2 clean sheets in those starts with a 1.20 goals against average. Big Bond tries to turn. Throw-in will be for Penn FC here on the near side. These two teams played earlier this season. That game was back on August the 12th at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. Crowd was, as it always is for them, absolutely huge, and they got a winner from Emmanuel Ledesma in the 80th minute in a 1-0 victory for FC Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati, the #1 team in the USL, and we're going to have a foul called here as Matt Boehner was a little bit slow to catch up to Paulo Jr. over on that left side.
Good development there, though, by Penn FC, Brian. Nice takeaway here in the back with a very aggressive tackle. Brought the ball up very, very quickly. They've been playing this possession game the last couple of matches. I think they'll try to do that again tonight, but they've got to create scoring opportunities off of the possessions. Merely dominating possession doesn't get you anything.
Here's one of those chances. Menjivar with his right foot, the assist leader with 5 on the year. Chips it to the middle of the field. Aaron Dennis will fire one from 35 yards out, well over the bar and out of play. Not a bad idea, because Toronto FC2 in their last game had 3 goals from distance in that contest, and that was really where they were able to stay in that game.
You know, Brian, I was just going to say that. Not a bad idea. Obviously, he wants to get out over the ball and strike it better. Leaning back as he did, you're going to put it 10 yards over the bar. But I think the position on the field was a good spot from which to take that shot. And you get a lot of rebound opportunities as well. Those are tough to handle for a keeper.
Calvano steps around his man in front, wins the possession, but they give it back. Lahoud, former Philadelphia Union player. They play all the way into the back. Ekkelkennen comes to the near side. Ledesma, nice flick forward. One rushing on the near side is Blake Smith, the left back. Venter gets there first and drills it off of him for a goal kick for Penn FC. Take a good look there a moment ago at Kyle Venter. And with Ken Tribbett injured, still not available for this game, he is not on the substitute bench for Penn FC. Venter becomes that guy in the back who they've leaned on more than any other.
And missing Tribbett is a distinct issue for Penn FC. He does an awful lot, Brian, and as you know, comes forward and does a lot of their scoring.
Lewis's goal kick is all the way into the Cincinnati half. Dropped off by Koenig, but nobody home. Throw in Penn FC.
First full night of autumn, Brian, and it's a little chilly out here at FNB Field, and I have a hunch that as that sun truly sets, it's behind the clouds, it's going to be even chillier.
I'm not going to say I mind the cooler temperatures one bit.
Well, see, you and I are on opposite planes on that one, my friend. I love the warm weather. You know, and it's interesting. Some of the players really, really like the warm weather, play better in it, and others prefer the cool eves of fall.
Well, hopefully for Penn FC, they're one of those teams that likes that cooler temperature just a little bit more. As the ball comes over here to the near side, Smith. They swing it over to Tyler Gibson, who's making his first start of the season for FC Cincinnati. Tennessee native, has 3 previous appearances, but none in the starting lineup. Hawkins will try to play a ball centrally to Osei, and that gets blocked off. Once again, Hawkins gets it back. Ball deflected, and Penn FC will have a throw-in on the far side. Paulo Jr. originally thought about it. Now the left back will come forward. Hawkins is there. Return from Resend. Had a nice game the other night. Gets to the corner. Cuts it back. Looking inside. Not enough on that one. But Paulo Jr. comes back to it. Here's an opportunity. Menjivar bends it. Looking for Dennis and headed out of danger by Blake Smith.
Paulo Jr. made a little bit out of nothing there, Brian, and that was nice to see.
So Penn FC will maintain the position after the throw-in. There's Calvano. Now up to Hawkins. Paulo Jr. Hawkins. They'll swing it all the way back, and the pressure continues from FC Cincinnati. Calvano, a little slow on it, and Koenig pushes him and knocks him down. Not the most comfortable possession that time from the two teams, and a little conversation.
A little chippy early, Brian. We'll have to watch this, and the officials are going to take command of this right away, and there you go. They're in love again.
You got the Brazilian and the Dane.
Oh, that's a little different.
I'm not really sure what either one was trying to accomplish. And the teammates at this point are trying to step in between them and need to. Calvano, for his attempt at making out, will get a yellow. And for his refusal, Koenig will get one as well here in the 7th minute.
We're not sure what the conversation was down on the field, Brian, but it looked like it was all okay, and then a little pushing and shoving, and you just don't know.
I don't think we're going to go to the replay on this one.
It's a family show.
Because it's one of the oddest, and the two of them are still gelling out there.
Yeah, well, it's all okay.
we'll just say a needless card for both of them, and now both of them will have to be careful the rest of the way here in this game. You would think that that's more significant for the defender than it would be for the forward.
And he's wearing the captain's armband tonight, so you just don't know what that was about. But it's a little chippy early, and the officials took complete control of the situation, and that's what you want to see.
For Penn
Knock
FC,
that stuff off.
For Penn FC, maybe a little bit of the pressure of the season and their season being on the edge right now, trying to wear and starting to wear on this team just a little bit, knowing how intense they have to be the rest of the way.
And you wondered, Brian, what Cincinnati was going to bring tonight, whether they were going to bring their A-team with personnel and how much intensity they would bring, given the fact that their playoff position is pretty well settled at this point. They're capable of locking up first position within a week, and it looks like they're here to play.
They're definitely bringing a quality squad out here. Chip the ball forward. Paulo Jr. got a piece of that one, but not enough. Good pressure that time up front from Resend. Forces the pass all the way back to Sean Lewis, the keeper for Penn FC tonight. Venter drops it off, poorly done, and the pressure was put on by Ledesma. Penn FC lucky to get that one back.
Very lucky. I mean, those are the mental mistakes, Brian, that kill you. That could have very easily been a goal situation for the Cincinnati side. That's such a lazy pass. There's no other way to describe it.
The lack of awareness of where just the potential league MVP Manuel Ledesma is. Here's Koenig. He's onside. Great job backtracking by Hawkins to cut him off and stop what would have been a 1v1 against the keeper.
Nice to see that out of Hawkins, because bluntly the other night he did not have his best evening, and right away tonight makes a couple of good tackles and some take.
So throw-in coming up for FC Cincinnati in the offensive half of the field. Blake Smith will take it. Looking for someone to move. Not much movement right now there for FC Cincinnati. Return the play out of bounds. Will stay FC Cincinnati ball. FC Cincinnati will be making the trek to MLS after this season. We'll talk about that a little bit more as this night goes on, but we're seeing a team that really is not just preparing for the USL playoffs, but also preparing for the move to the next level.
A big step up, Brian, and they've done everything both personnel-wise and with their system to get prepared for that. Great fan base, really well-prepared program, good personnel, and the record to prove it.
And after Koenig is called for the foul on Venter, he steps a little closer to Venter. Venter takes exception to something. Koenig already on that yellow card.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He's very conversational tonight.
Koenig making his 16th start of the season, 10 goals on the year for FC Cincinnati. They have so many different ways that they can hurt you. And he's just another one of them. Foul whistle against Penn FC. Bond is the guilty party, and the restart goes to the road team. They'll go home all the way to their keeper. And Ritchie will boot it up the field into the Penn FC end. Former Harrisburg City Islander there, Jimmy McLaughlin. One of the more popular players in his time on the island.
He really was. Fan favorite.
Ball played down. Venter trying to claim he got a touch, did not, as the overlapping run from Blake Smith was effective enough to get a throw on left side of the box. In it goes. The dangerous left foot of Ledesma marked by not one but two. Ball chipped inside, and Hawkins will play it over this near sideline safely. Throw-in coming up for Smith. Again, looking inside, pump fakes on it. Ledesma posting up. Got hands all around him, double teamed in that corner, tries to turn, falls. And the official says, nah, that wasn't anything but you that time, and does not make the call. Menjivar has it for Penn FC. Good pressure from FC Cincinnati. And Lewis is able to tow this ball up the field. If you want a a team that is similar in terms of the style of play that has been very successful as far as just the speed that they have and the pressure. I think the champions from 2 years ago, New York Red Bulls 2, and everything that they were able to do. Here's an opportunity and a chip towards net. And a stop by Lewis. Don't think you really give him a save on that one, but
pretty close. I mean, that actually turned out, Brian, to be a lot more dangerous than it originally looked. He was coming up close to the end line there and managed to turn it pretty well, and I don't think they'll give him a save, but pretty darn close.
That was McLaughlin who was trying to turn it towards net. Here's a giveaway. Resend double teamed. Lahoud with a strong challenge and wins the tackle. No score as we enter the 14th minute of play here between Penn FC and FC Cincinnati. Ball played forward by Penn FC. As Dan Metzger, the former Red Bulls 2 player, incidentally a member of that championship team 2 years ago. The thing that they did so well is they just pressure, and it's reminiscent of what this FC Cincinnati does as well. They have so much speed, so many ways to hurt you, but they do it from the very beginning when you have the ball in the back end.
It's absolute consistent pressure, and if you notice, they're winning most of the challenges. Penn FC has to turn that around.
Little talking to once again from the referee.
Is that Koenig again? He's really going to have to watch it. And our friend, Mr. McLaughlin.
Actually, our head referee right now is talking to both of the gentlemen he had talked to before. Talking to Calvano, talking to Koenig. And I believe what he's letting them know is, if I see one more thing, both your teams will get to play without you the rest of the way.
That was your mother warning you one more time. That was pretty clearly that conversation. So we'll see. I mean, they have not slowed down one bit. The conversation has continued, and I think there's a little physical contact that's going on as well. So we'll have to watch this.
Ball chipped down. Driven cross is played right back out by Hawkins. Throw-in coming up for FC Cincinnati. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Ball sent into the box. Bond heads it high, but right to the foot of Ledesma, who is high with the volley.
Took that volley cleanly, Brian, but unfortunately for him, leaned back just a tiny little bit, but nice clean volley.
You see that flick up over top of everybody. Hawkins tipped it. Bond didn't get enough of it, and he gave Ledesma the opportunity. That was wide. So it's Penn FC with the goal kick of this scoreless contest. Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux. A beautiful night here in Pennsylvania's capital city.
A little chilly, Brian.
Still a beautiful night here. If there's no precipitation, I think most of the folks in the country would agree it's just fine for soccer. So throw-in coming up for Penn FC.
Brian likes it in the 60s. We'll go for the 8.
Hawkins will throw in. Harry Hawkins, the native of Cambridge, England. He was with the NASL's New York Cosmos a year ago. Played there with Lucky Kasana, who's on the substitute bench tonight for Penn FC.
You have to wonder when he'll see action tonight. As you know, Coach Voss generally doesn't sub in the first half, and Kasana, not only a big scorer for Penn FC, but a big playmaker. So we'll have to see when he sees action.
There's Metzger, drops in the middle. Here's Calvin Resend. The native of Connecticut switches the point of attack over to an open Paulo Jr. on the left flank. Paulo Jr. steps towards, and a shot towards net. Partial cross, partial shot, saved by Ritchie nonetheless, as it went right over top of Isaac Osei's head without being able to touch it.
But again, Brian, we're seeing what you suggested they do, which is take some shots from long range, because that's where they've been vulnerable in the last couple of matches, and Penn FC clearly has watched some game film, and they're doing that. That was actually a pretty nice situation there. Reversing the fields as they did created a lot of space on that far touchline.
Forrest Lasso with it now after Lahoud's nice play in the middle. Wins the possession for FC Cincinnati. Kanan to Lasso. Back to Kanan. All the way back to Ritchie. Now Penn FC will chase a little bit. That forces the ball into a 50-50 challenge that eventually Penn FC looks like they've won the battle. Zen, though, is in an offside position and will be whistled for that. Charlie, this FC Cincinnati team, I think the fact that, and you see there, they travel well. This is a team that brings in tons of attendance, and with the Columbus Crew being questionable about what they're going to be able to do in the future, MLS did not want to leave the soccer hot state of Ohio and immediately made the move to bring this team in.
And they made a very good decision. We've already said the Cincinnati team is a premier side in every respect, organizationally, fan base wise, personnel wise, system wise. They've really got it all going, and I think they're going to move to that upper level seamlessly, and I think they're going to be competitive in the MSL.
Free kick coming up, and this is dangerous because Manu Ledesma, 15 assists on the season, an extremely talented left foot for the Argentine.
And one of the toughest spots on the field.
Crossing the box. This one not his best, as Osei is the only one at that near post. Did not get near enough on that one.
Left it a little short, and a big header out of there by Osei, which was a good defensive play.
Here's the counter. Paulo Jr., a full head of steam. Cuts to the inside. An opportunity from 22. Deflected wide. And it's going to be a corner kick for Penn FC as a result.
Very nicely played by Paulo Jr. there. That's exactly what I think he wanted to do, and he got off a really good shot, and as a result, they're going to pick up their first corner of the night. And we'll see how they play these set pieces. I think they want to go long on them.
So, Paulo Jr., it looked like Ritchie was in position, but it deflected off of a Cincinnati defender. That's what gives them the corner opportunity. Menjivar, highlighted him in our pregame, and for good reason. He's had a very good season for this Penn FC squad, has been their minutes leader, continues to play pretty much every game 90 minutes in the middle of the field. And now will take the corner, an outswinger with his right foot. Chip towards the back post, headed by Hawkins, straight down and deflected out.
Nice ball, nicely played into the box. They got the header, but the defender right there. And Hawkins is looking much better tonight than he did just a few days ago, and that's good to see.
FC Cincinnati with numbers now on the counter, but Menjivar steps in the way of the errant pass, trying to go the other direction. And Penn FC push forward now. Aaron Dennis with it. Not many touches for him so far. He gives out that right side, drills one, deflected. 3 white jerseys around it. Dennis continues to fight for it and wins the ball on the right side. So talented, wins the throw-in. Aaron Dennis, 6'1", making his 13th start of the season and his 20th appearance for Penn FC. Bond throws in. Osei turns, tries to swing. Lasso had him bodied up well, and Ritchie gathers the scraps.
And Penn FC's pulling the trigger from long range, or longer range tonight, Brian, at the 18 and above. Haven't been doing that consistently through the season. They preferred the short passing game and possession, but tonight I think they see the one maybe soft spot in the Cincinnati defense, and they're letting it fly.
Calvano grabbed the hold of. That's his good buddy Koenig.
They've gotten to know each other pretty well tonight.
Just a little tug there and gets the whistle. So it's going to be Hawkins crossing the point of attack over here to Bond, who is looking to go forward. Had to pull it back.
I don't think, Brian, that the official is going to allow too much more dancing between those two, though. I mean, I think they both really got to be careful, because I think they've taken as much liberty as the guy with the whistle is going to allow.
Calvano presses forward. There's Dennis in the middle of the field, looking for Osei. It ricochets around, and Lasso will calmly play it out. Koenig, though, gives it right back with his head. Now here's Metzger. Paulo Jr. was inside. On the outside, Resend looking to spring. The Brazilian cannot do so, but they will win a throw-in, as it is last touched by FC Cincinnati on that side to Matt Boehner.
And they've been trying to penetrate the center the last couple of times down, Brian, when the opportunities appear to be out on the wings, and now they've gone out a little bit wider, and I think by creating that space, the opportunities in the center will be more frequent.
Still scoreless here in the 23rd minute. Penn FC and FC Cincinnati. Venter for Penn FC goes to Menjivar in the middle of the pitch. Hawkins. Paulo Jr. tries to turn on Lahoud and is fouled there. Lahoud back also from international duty.
This is an opportunity spot, Brian. I mean, this is a good position in the field from which to take this free kick. Cincinnati will set up their defense, bring a lot of folks forward for Penn FC, and let's see how they play it.
Michael Lahoud was called for that foul. Actually was on international duty with Sierra Leone. Did not get in the game for them, but does have 4 caps in his career for him internationally. Richard Menjivar will take this one as he usually does for Penn FC. He'll try to bend this one in towards the back post. Osei usually is the target here. Inside it goes, headed away by FC Cincinnati.
Good ball, nicely played.
Not done yet either, as Metzger's going to press the advantage. Trying to drill it in, deflects down. Bond will play it safely all the way back, and the possession maintained by the home team. Venter will gain width by going wide to the left. Now back to Calvano. Calvano will drill the ball forward. Metzger making a good run from the right side. Tries to get to the corner in time and cannot. It'll be a goal kick for FC Cincinnati. Play Wheel of Fortune, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery for your chance at top prizes of $100 grand. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Couldn't quite turn the hips on that one, Brian, or I think you might have had a very interesting situation develop there. And it's nice to see that Penn FC, now into the 25th minute, has not given up an early goal tonight. That's hurt them so badly in the last 2 matches. They played very, very well tonight.
And here is Penn FC again on a 50-50 ball, and this is an offside position, even though it was not touched by FC Cincinnati. Koenig was in an offside position.
And that's what they're crying about. You know, wasn't touched. Why are you making the call?
Danny Koenig tonight has definitely not been in the best frame of mind so far. He has been irritated from the start.
He has certainly let his presence be known down on the pitch. And he's still yakking.
He's in his 2nd year with this FC Cincinnati team. In fact, they only kept 9 players from last year's squad to stay with this group. And Koenig was one of them. He originally came to this
drop
team.
ball.
And what happened was they made a mistake. I have no idea what the linesman saw there at that point, but there was no way that was offside. So they do the drop ball. Penn FC gives it back, and we are back to play here. Koenig is a prolific goal scorer in his time with OKC. He was with them, and he had 26 goals with them in his 3 years with this squad, 2015 to 2017. As Bond cannot track one down, overlapping on the right side. That's a guy, Jake Bond, who one of the few holdovers for this Penn FC team that played for the Harrisburg City Islanders before their rebranding this season.
One of very few, and well known to the fans here in Harrisburg.
Bond is a guy who, he was with St. Louis FC and then scored and assisted against them the one time he had points in last year's season, but was maintained on this squad and has played sparingly this season. Been off and on in that starting lineup at the outside back position, his 12th start of the season for Raul Voss's team. Here comes Penn FC with in the middle. There's Metzger dropping it to the middle. Menjivar. Now Venter, they will continue to try to force FC Cincinnati to chase. Dennis will bring it back. Here comes Hawkins chipping it long. And the ball pinballed around over that left side. Paulo Jr. keeps it in. good turn. We're going to have a goal kick or a foul, one or the other. I think it's going to be a foul on Paulo Jr. trying to get around. That's why he's not pleased. Thought he had made a clean move, and our official felt otherwise.
Yeah, those are the ones that you're always going to get a little bit of resistance from the players on, because those calls can go either way.
So still scoreless here between these two teams. The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow at USL on Twitter. NFC won the ball initially, but Blake Smith steps in and breaks up any chance in an attack. It will be a throw-in for the home team. Smith stops anything big from happening. It's a big day of games around the USL, and especially in the Eastern Conferences. It seems like everybody is in action tonight or last night. Be able to look at some of those games coming up at halftime. I do know that NCFC, North Carolina FC, was victorious last night against Atlanta United 2, 6-1. So they are now tied for the final playoff spot with that win. Bethlehem Steel was a winner earlier today, 4-0 over Toronto FC2. So that is a big win for Bethlehem Steel. They have only 3 games remaining on their slate. A much needed win for them puts them 4 clear of the final playoff spot. And that last playoff spot for Penn FC right now, still just 6 points in front of where they currently stand.
So picking up 3 tonight, Brian, as I do the math, would be very, very, very important.
Imperative
here.
As Smith drills it off the chest of Venter. He's very careful to make sure his arms were down. But it will be Ledesma. As really FC Cincinnati been quiet over the last 5 minutes or so. It's been pretty much Penn FC with all of the possession, all of the opportunity. And this is a rare foray recently for FC Cincinnati into the Penn FC end.
I believe this is their first corner, is it not?
Second one, I believe.
Second.
Ledesma will now take the left footer. You may be right about that, actually. Ledesma will cross, looking near post. Well done by Osei, who's bowled over inside by Forrest Lasso.
Yeah, I think the last one was just a free kick where he tried to bend it in, and Osei picked it off with his head and cleared it nicely.
Yeah, did a good job there. And Lasso, a danger man, had a goal on a set piece against Toronto FC2. You see Isaac Osei right there. There's a young man, 25-year-old from Ghana, making his 7th start of the season. One of several of these Penn FC players on loan from Inter Allies FC, which is in the top level of Ghanaian soccer. He really has acquitted himself in his opportunities quite well, as he's already scored 2 goals and an assist in his time. Calvano looking for an open Paulo Jr. cut off quickly by Matt Boehner. NFC will drive the ball, looking side to side. Here's Dennis, steps around Smith, clipped by Ledesma. We'll see if Manu gets the card on this one.
I don't think so, but he thought about it. He really did.
That's coming.
Now here it comes.
Because it was an opportunity there for Dennis, who had gotten past Smith over here on the near side, and Ledesma clips him on the way by, which prevented an opportunity, and that's...
It was a card situation. I just thought he wasn't going to pull it out. My powers of clairvoyance are down a little bit tonight, Brian. I can tell he was thinking about it.
It's the temperature, I understand. So Ledesma in the book. 3rd card issued tonight so far, as Koenig and Calvano, with their conversation and friendship making in the 7th minute, both picked up a yellow.
Gently, I like that. Their friendship making.
Menjivar now will take this free kick. Spencer Ritchie between the pipes for FC Cincinnati. Stares at him, and here's Menjivar's opportunity. Drives it low, goes all the way through, headed, and a shot, and a goal! Yeah. Penn FC on the near post. It's Paulo Jr.
Very nicely played, Brian. And as you watch this thing develop, you're going to see the opportunities that Penn FC had, and they were Johnny on the spot and taking advantage of them. Here you go.
Here's that low cross, gets through everybody, headed back post by Hawkins, I believe, and Paulo Jr., his 4th goal of the season, gets the home team on the board first.
And Hawkins is having a really nice night, which is good to see. The little header flip there, and Paulo Jr., the Brazilian, in perfect position, touches it in.
Formerly with the Indy 11 a year ago, made 9 appearances with them at that time. Paulo Moraes de Arroyo Jr., the full name. We'll just call him Paulo Jr. It's goal number 4 for him, and a huge marker for Penn FC as they take the lead.
And I think you used the proper word there, Brian. That's huge. I don't want to jinx them, but that if they can make that stand up for a little while, that really could be, on the season, a very, very important marker.
This FC Cincinnati team, though, is used to scoring goals. Very difficult to keep this team off the scoreboard completely. If you're Raul Voss right now, you have to be thrilled that you have the early lead and your team is playing as well as they are, but you also have to figure you're going to probably need another one.
I think an insurance marker is vital, but I will say this. This comes from years and years of experience, Brian. I would rather play up 1 than down 1.
No question about that.
How's that for great wisdom?
So Penn FC with the lead, and there's a little bit more spice in the step right now of this FC Cincinnati team in the few moments since that time as they try to press forward a little bit more.
I mean, you can see the explosive power of the Cincinnati side throughout this match, but the action has been controlled by Penn FC, and if they can continue that, it makes it difficult for the scoring, more difficult for the scoring opportunities for Cincinnati.
Aaron Dennis, he's going to win a corner here as Lasso can't do anything more than just play that over the end line as Dennis ends up beating a double team down that right-hand side and wins that corner kick opportunity.
You assume Menjivar will take this.
You can watch highlights from every game of the 2018 season and stay up to date with news from across the USL at the league's official Facebook page, facebook.com/USL Soccer. It will be Menjivar to take this one. Short corner played to Resend. Resend steps over it. Going down the byline, will win another corner as Smith marked him the entire way.
I'll be honest, I don't understand the short corners, given what we've seen and what we understand about the weakness of the Cincinnati defense, if there is a weakness to it. I'll be playing this long. We'll see what they do this time. Here's Menjivar again.
Menjivar was with the Cosmos last year, one of several Penn FC players to be with them a year ago, so they have that familiarity. This time, they'll chip it, looking back post, looking for Hawkins, but headed clear by FC Cincinnati's back line. Calvano will play it right back in. Looking, Resend is there. Good trap, brings it to the right side. Resend with his left foot, loses it this time. Smith dispossesses him of the ball and sent by Ledesma all the way up the field. Koenig can't get much on that one at all, loses it, and Calvano will play it back to his keeper. One of the better halves of soccer we've seen from Penn FC, first halves of soccer I should really say, more than anything else, thus far, as Penn FC will be called for the foul here. Metzger a little too handsy on that challenge.
Yeah, Coach Voss has to be very pleased with the way his side has played tonight. They have risen to the challenge. They have played up to the level of their competition, which is a pretty high level.
This is a group that starts 7 out of the 11. It started in their most recent game, a loss this past Wednesday to Louisville City FC. A 3-0 loss for Penn FC.
And I think it was fair to say, Brian, not their best effort of the season. So to have turned it around and look the way they do tonight is very positive indication for Coach Voss and his side.
So we'll play it back to his keeper. Osei gives chase to force the distribution up towards midfield. Here's Koenig. And Javar challenges him. Koenig shakes that one off. Corbin Bone has not had much of the ball here. We'll get it now. Goes back to Koenig again. They cannot make the connection, and here comes Penn FC with a counter opportunity. Paulo Jr., can he get there first? No. Good slide made by Dikakainen. Penn FC will play it out. And in the 38th minute of play, it is Paulo Jr.'s goal off a Harry Hawkins assist that has Penn FC ahead of FC Cincinnati 1-0. A game that honestly means a lot more right now to Penn FC than it does to FC Cincinnati. The inevitable right now, Charlie, is that FC Cincinnati eventually is probably going to lock up that #1 seed overall.
Yeah, it's just a question of when. I mean, this is a side that has dominated throughout the season. And you're correct, it means a lot more to Penn FC because, to be very candid, their backs are against the wall. They've got to win virtually every match. They've got to pick up points in every match. And they've got a lot of teams to climb over just to get into contention for that last playoff spot. That's the problem at this point in the season. It's not just gaining points through wins. It's getting wins where other teams that are ahead of you aren't winning. And that's the challenge tonight. The teams that are ahead of them are on the board with wins as well.
Deemed to have last touched Koenig that time. And it will be Penn FC with the goal kick. Sean Lewis has 2 clean sheets in his 5 starts this season for Penn FC, giving Ramu Pizer a day off. And the Michigan native, his team is in front right now. His 3rd clean sheet of the year. Give a much needed 3 points to Penn FC, but we got a lot of time left to go before we can say that. 39th minute of play. Ball sent down. Osei was in an offside position, came back. So he was not deemed to be offside because he never attempted to play the ball. And this time it will be an offside. Should be whistled against Penn FC.
You start to think about the end of regulation here in this half, Brian. And at this stage, I don't think there's going to be much, if any, extra time. We have the 1 goal, and beyond that, I don't think there's been much injury. Well, yeah, we had the little conversation. I forgot. You pointed to the spot on the field where that took place, and I remember.
We had outside of the goal.
We'll have 12 minutes of extra time.
The biggest moment of the entire first half, as far as the meaningfulness, I guess, to the 2 gentlemen who were having that conversation. Venter does a good job sliding that one away, and Hawkins will tow it back towards midfield.
I have to admit that in many years of watching and playing this game, I've never seen that.
It is a rarity to see what we did in that 7th minute. And 2 guys who end up getting carded because of it. FC Cincinnati has not had a great deal of possession, have not strung many passes, but here's a chance. Ledesma to Bone, finds McLaughlin on the right side, tries to cross. Hawkins is in the way, and it will be, I believe,
I'm not sure what he's calling here.
Okay. They're going to say that Bone was fouled before he played the ball over to McLaughlin. As we watch this, here's Bone, watch him turn, and that is Calvano, who is very late on that challenge, already on a yellow.
And a dangerous spot on the field. And you just see in that little sequence there, Brian, how A, explosive, and B, dangerous this Cincinnati side is. I mean, they move the ball with great precision. They've got players forward, each of whom can strike the ball very well. And you've got to be constantly vigilant because they've got goal-scoring opportunities across the line. And the defensive backs really have to mark well and be, really, really on the spot defensively. And here is a tough
It's going to be
free
Ledesma
kick from a bad position on the field for Penn FC.
He's another guy who was with the Cosmos last year. Had 10 goals with them in 2017. And now his talented left foot from 25 yards out. Knuckling down. Lewis with a great save. And not only with a great save, but pushes the ball away from a charging McLaughlin.
And did they keep the ball in?
They did not. It will be a throw-in for FC Cincinnati, but for the moment, it remains 1-0 Penn FC. Do a great save by Sean Lewis.
Beautiful save, and the fans here really reacting, and that kind of thing gets the fans back in the game, and got a nice crowd out here tonight at FNB Field.
Smith trying to play long. Koenig onside, left side of the box. Double team. Check that's Ledesma trying to turn. Calvano playing the ball up to the near sideline, and all of a sudden FC Cincinnati with the opportunities in possession here as we get towards the end of this first half. Ledesma trying to get the foul called against Bond. Bond pushes him off and not whistled. LaHood will win it back for FC Cincinnati. Good deflection from Paulo Jr. Slid down but not out. And here comes Penn FC trying to play Osei centrally. Once again, Deco Cannon, who is the captain's armband tonight, with a very good play in front of Osei. Aaron Dennis with it now for Penn FC. The Hawkins. They'll play it all the way back to Calvano. He'll go home, and Sean Lewis will slow things up just a little bit more. Maybe a necessary delay for Penn FC just to stifle a little bit of the momentum built up by FC Cincinnati in the last few charges forward. Penn FC, I think, would be very happy just to take the air out of the ball for the rest of this first half and take a lead into the locker room. Bond looking for Osei. He turns, plays it over. Resend can't get there in time, but Smith can only play it over the near sideline. Throw in for Penn FC. Dennis playing it all the way back to Venter. Drives the ball to the opposite side. Here's Paulo Jr., the goal scorer. He cuts into the box. Good turn. Brought down. Osei can't turn. And it's played back out by FC Cincinnati.
Nice little run there by Paulo Jr. and almost created something in the middle as a result.
Penn FC is Rush Soccer's first team, making its USL debut this season. Rush Soccer is an international organization dedicated to the development of youth soccer players. Based in Littleton, Colorado, Rush Soccer is partnered with 85 clubs around the globe, providing a comprehensive club development program to over 32,000 players. Penn FC is proud to sit on top of the Rush Soccer pyramid. Penn FC had something going there for a moment, but FC Cincinnati able to clear it as we're now in the last minute of regulation here in half number one. It is a Paulo Jr. goal assisted by Harry Hawkins on a set piece that has Penn FC in front of the #1 team in the USL, who incidentally has not lost a game since the month of May.
That's pretty remarkable. I mean, through the heart of the season, and they don't lose a match.
7 straight wins for them and have not lost since May. And Penn FC has the advantage as we wind close to the end of this first half. LaHood plays it back dangerously, and we've got a foul called on Osei and gets a yellow card to boot. 2 minutes of stoppage time is what has been shown by our fourth official as they try to explain right now why Osei is getting the yellow card. And that really was a great chance for Penn FC, taken out by a play behind the play against the young Ghanaian.
Yeah, and I think they're arguing not only the play, but the timing of the call. It seemed like it came a little late, and Penn FC clearly had an advantage. But not only the foul, but a card to go with it.
So it's going to be driven by Ledesma into the box, headed up towards the far post and wide. Goal kick Penn FC. They brought everybody forward, and I think Lasso was the guy who got his head to it last.
And each one of these chances right now looms pretty large, Brian, because they've got about a minute left to go into the half, and I can only imagine that Raul Voss would be overjoyed to take a 1-0 lead into the locker room.
They are not far away from doing that as we're already into the second minute of stoppage time. Sean Lewis taking his good old time back there to get this goal kick started. Will there be any more challenges here in this first half of play? Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux here at halftime. We're approaching it, but Jimmy McLaughlin to the right side. One more chance maybe for the visiting team. Turning on that ball in the middle of the field was Gibson. Could not do anything with it. LaHood once again steps in firmly with the challenge. Over here on the near side in the waning minutes of this first half. Smith plays it centrally. Stepping forward, deflected shot. Bone with it, tries to backheel it to McLaughlin. Still alive for FC Cincinnati. Bond will clear, and that should do it for the first half. That's the whistle ending this first half of action. Our score after one, Penn FC 1, FC Cincinnati 0. Back with our halftime show after this on ESPN+.
Sugar Hill Townhomes is the official housing partner of Penn FC. The rental community located in Susquehanna Township features 3-bedroom townhomes with attached garages and optional finished basements. The community features 6 beautiful floor plans, a state-of-the-art fitness facility, and an off-leash dog park. For more information on the community, visit www.crookedhillapts.com. Crooked Hill Townhomes, the best in luxury living at Central PA.
All across Pennsylvania, families are living their lives in their own homes. Not long ago, none of these families believed it possible. And then they discovered there was someone who could help. What was once only a dream is now a reality. Welcome home.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law. But more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
Penn FC leads FC Cincinnati 1-0 here at the half. Let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team, Anna Middleton.
Hi, Coach Raul Voss. How does it feel to be going into the half leading?
Yeah, obviously it feels better leading than being behind in halftime, but it doesn't mean anything. We know obviously they're first place team with 20 points ahead nearly of everybody for a reason. They're every set piece, everywhere very dangerous, so we know we got to be ready for it. We got to be up for it. We want to win here today. And we need actually more even than we showed here in the first half.
All right, and is there any changes you want to make going into the second half?
Not right away, no. Going to keep it this one on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And again, we are at halftime. Penn FC leading FC Cincinnati by a score of 1-0. Well, you know, there are some cities in the state of Pennsylvania that are a little strange when you try to pronounce them, and especially if you're not from around this area. So let's see how the Penn FC players do when they try to pronounce some of the cities here in Pennsylvania.
Ephrata.
Ephrata. Ephrata.
Freda.
Ephrata.
Ephrata.
Ephrata. Schuylkill.
Schuylkill. Schuylkill.
Schuylkill.
Schuylkill.
Schuylkill.
Schuylkill. Lidditz.
Littitz. Is that a serious one? Is that serious? Littitz.
Lidditz.
Littitz.
Littitz.
Lidditz. Lidditz. Lancaster.
Lancaster. Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Ah, this one's nice. I will say until last week Lancaster, but I know it's Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Lancaster. Conshohocken.
Conshohocken, I know that one. Conshohocken.
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 Conshohocken. Punxsutawney.
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 Why? Why this one? Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney. Punxsutawney.
And there you have it. And you see a beautiful moon over top right now with the host team, Penn FC, leading FC Cincinnati 1-0 here at halftime. Let's take a look right now at some highlights that are going on across the league this past week in the USL.
Over to the left, Endo, and Tsubasa Endo with a great-looking strike.
Beck is loading it up. It's Calvillo takes a shot, and that one is good. Eric Calvillo, his first goal.
His growth and his development, but even his performance tonight's been fantastic.
Oh, look at Fernando Adi into the box. Fernando Adi, far post. FC Cincinnati leads 2-1. A save is made by Patterson Sua.
Did I say about him being different level?
David Olsen goes for goal, tipped up by Wazinski. Tsubasa Endo with a great-looking strike. Endo with some room. Takes a strike. Endo hits it and has a hat trick.
Good idea there by Switchbacks
FC.
Here's Saeed.
Oh, look at Fernando Adi. Into the box. Fernando Adi, far post. Into the box. Corbin Bone. Corbin Bone has it in. With that goal, Manu Ledesma sets a new USL record for assists in a season.
Goal and a score! Incredible goal!
Tampa Bay. They'll try and send one in on the ground. Score! And his service in finds the back of the net.
Wow. It's headed back across and down and in.
And is buried into the back of the net. This could be their moment. It's Baril! Yes!
Ball to Decker, and what a shot at the corner of the net! Right-footed shot, and he has it! And St. Louis has stolen a goal. Now headed in for a goal. Oh, and St. Louis has done it.
And there it is. He's just scored.
Menachard turns the near post, is scored.
Bends it in. Brett is denied and stopped again.
Tambaki's got just enough of a look at it.
And he puts it in. Rips that shot. Followed up and in. And he puts his team ahead once again.
It's in! There it is! 2-0 Orange and Blue!
Now setting up the first goal, and it's in!
Manu Ledesma does it again!
Sandbinder! Spagenberg with a diving save!
Putting on a show today! Back here at halftime at FNB Field in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, it's Penn FC 1-0 leading FC Cincinnati. Let's take a look at our USL Team of the Week, and you see the guy who's the Player of the Week, Endo from Toronto FC 2, had a hat trick against this FC Cincinnati team who puts two of the players on themselves, Corbin Bone and Manu Ledesma. Ledesma had 3 assists in that game. Bone had a brace and the game winner. Look at a couple of those other players. Maxim Crepeau, the Ottawa Fury goalkeeper, with 13 shutouts on the season. That is a single season record on the season for that USL Team of the Week that you see right there. And our news around the league, big thing is up top. So you want to tune in on Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time to all of our league social media. Major announcement coming up, and it just seems like weekly there is a major announcement because so much is going on in the USL. So that's coming up on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Make sure you tune in to find out what is happening next in the USL. Take a look at the playoff races heating up. FC Cincinnati has clinched, as have a couple teams in the western side of things. And here are some notable games right now. Earlier today, Bethlehem Steel, a 4-0 winner. They were 1 point ahead before, now a 4-point cushion on that final playoff spot for Bethlehem Steel, where they have 3 games left. The Charlotte Independents have a 1-0 lead on New York Red Bulls 2. They are 1 point behind New York if they win that game. So you can see there, New York right now 1 point below the cut line at this point. And in our later game, you've got the Charleston Battery and Nashville SC. Nashville right now 2 points out of the playoffs. And a New York loss. North Carolina has already won yesterday by a 6-1 score. So Nashville with a win, they can continue keeping themselves very much in the hunt. Other games that are going on right now, halftime, Pittsburgh and Indy 11 are tied 0-0. Louisville, Ottawa, and Tampa Bay, Richmond, both midway through their first halves, and they are both scoreless. Also, not scoreless here, it's Penn FC 1, FC Cincinnati 0. We'll be back with the stats and the highlights from the first half after this, here on ESPN+.
All across Pennsylvania, families are living their lives in their own homes. Not long ago, none of these families believed it possible. And then they discovered there was someone who could help. What was once only a dream is now a reality. Welcome home.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law. But more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
Driver! It's in! There it is! 2-0 Orange and Blue! Now setting up the fight score! And it's in! Unbelievable! Lenu Udemba does it again! Saved by Newton! Spangenberg with a diving save! Putting on a show today!
And welcome back. We're at halftime. Penn FC, a 1-0 advantage on FC Cincinnati. And let's take a look at some of the highlights of this first half. We're going to start with the goal. Richard Menjivar to the backside. Hawkins heads it back to the opposite post. And Paulo Jr. with his fourth goal of the season puts Penn FC in front in this one, 1-0. Great save by Sean Lewis on a Manu Ledesma free kick late in the first half. But really, the opportunities for FC Cincinnati in that first half were rather wanting. Just 3 shots for them in half number 1 compared to 5 for Penn FC. 1 save made by either keeper, that one, the one you saw, from Sean Lewis. Possession, not what Penn FC has had recently. They normally have had a major advantage in that area. The one place they haven't had an advantage in the last 2 games has been on the scoreboard. They do tonight by a score of 1-0. And for Penn FC, this game vitally important, as are the remaining 4 that they have after this one if they have a chance to make the playoffs. The Keystone Derby finishes up this Wednesday, September 28th, as the Pittsburgh Riverhounds come to town for their one and only appearance here in Harrisburg. And then the following Wednesday, Charlotte Independents will be the opponent. And that, for all intent and purposes, will most likely be an elimination game, as both those teams right now underneath the line to make the playoffs. New York Red Bulls 2 will be Tuesday, October 9th. And then it'll be Toronto FC 2, team that has been eliminated from the playoffs but is playing spirited soccer right now. For FC Cincinnati, They next play on this Wednesday against the Richmond Kickers, and they return home for their final home game of the regular season. They're going to have plenty, though, at Nippert Stadium after that. But they'll be playing the Indy 11 this coming Saturday, September 29th, with a 7:30 start time. www.fccincinnati.com, the place you can get tickets for them. And believe me, lots of great seats and lots of environment there at Nippert Stadium for FC Cincinnati as we are getting set to go here in half number 2. You see some of our fans standing by, getting ready for the start of playing the second half. The smoke flies. We'll take a look and see if there are any changes for either side. Raul Voss, you see him right there, going back to the sideline for Penn FC. The 34-year-old first-year head coach has to be very pleased. He was at halftime, and we'll see if they make any adjustments at all. On the other side, Alan Koch, the South African head coach for FC Cincinnati, has made his adjustments as well, and we'll see what each team has decided to do to start off this second half. Our center Reed Thomas Snyder had a busy first half, having to deal out several cards to either squad. Linesman of Jeff Skinker, Josh Encarnacion with the fourth official of Patrick Casey, our crew for tonight's game. So the two teams are back on the pitch, but our officials coming out now. They had a little bit of extra time. They are walking back out right now to come back out to the field. And Charlie Giroux with me. This is Brian Kaiser with you here on ESPN Plus. Our officiating crew, you see them right now getting ready to start things off. And Charlie, this Penn FC team, they've played maybe one of their best halves of the season. They need to match that here in the second half to come away with the 3 points tonight.
They do, and you're correct. This Cincinnati side is capable of scoring goals in bunches. The defense is going to have to be very strong for Penn FC, but they're going to have to continue to press the attack. I think it's maybe their best half of the season. I mean, compared to what they left on the field Thursday night, this is a markedly different side tonight. They played very, very well, did exactly what they wanted, and as a result, they're up 1 goal.
33rd minute goal from Paulo Jr. is the difference right now as we get set to start the second half of action. Isaac Gosset stands over it in the center circle. And we are underway here in half number 2 with Penn FC leading FC Cincinnati 1-0. 7 straight wins, 17 straight non-losses for FC Cincinnati coming into this game. It is Penn FC with the ball to start off this second half. Dennis pulls it back, flicks it up to Metzger. Dennis went down in a heap. Nothing called there. Here comes Metzger as Dennis still trying to recover from whatever happened to him over there on the side. Menjivar pulls it back. Penn FC in their sharp blue kits with the white edging. FC Cincinnati heads it over here to the near side. That's Matt Boehner. Back in 2013-2014 was a member of the Harrisburg City Islanders. Played 52 games for that squad in his time here. But he is a player that is from Cincinnati and also played his college at the University of Cincinnati. NFC with it right now. After that takeaway, Hawkins tries to switch the point of attack. Smith steps in the way but can't control it. Here's Bond. Dennis. Bond already on the overlap. Dennis is double teamed in the corner. Willing to work a little time, loses the possession though. Ball played to the middle to Gibson. Bone can't keep it in. Penn FC with some good pressure up the field, and they win the throw.
And they have kept the pressure on, Brian. This is really going to be the key to this half, in my judgment, is to keep the constant pressure on that back line of Cincinnati. And if they do, got a good shot at pulling this thing out.
Paulo Jr. rips one from 25, a bouncing, knuckling shot that's handled by Spencer Ritchie for his first save of the game. FC Cincinnati with it in the midfield. You take a look at some of the things that they could do off their bench. One guy who is not available for this game, Fernando Adi, the former Portland Timbers forward, one of the premier players and a designated player for this FC Cincinnati team, looking to the future. They got him a little bit early for allocation money, and now he is in the fold, but he is not available to them tonight. He's not with them on the trip in uniform. We'll take a look at some of their possibilities as Bond sends it to the middle. Boehner clears it out. McLaughlin will have it for FC Cincinnati, but they do not again get a clean possession right away. Boehner up the middle of the field. Koenig tries to come near side to Lahoud. Nothing doing there. Off the bench for them, Evan Newton, the backup keeper night. Pakunate, Patty Bart. Also have Naz Al-Badawi, Kenny Walker, Russell Cicerone, and Emery Welshman. So as far as what you would call scoring punch, the normal suspects that you would have for this team off the bench, outside of Al-Badawi, not the usual group that you might come off the bench. They started a lot of them here today.
I haven't seen any substitutions yet. Coach Voss clearly doesn't look to be making any, at least in the near term.
So here comes Penn FC trying to possess. They have the 1-0 lead, much more willing right now to work some time and play some possession. Paulo Jr. wins the ball 50-50 in the middle. Turns to Metzger. He fires a long shot, we'll call it, because it goes all the way through, but I think he was looking for Osei to try to get a piece of it, which he could not. Ball flicked by FC Cincinnati. Calvano finds Menjivar. That's a dangerous ball. Koenig steps in. Ledesma's up there also, and Penn FC able to play it back to midfield. And a foul called on Osei. Check that, offside is the call, as our linesman had his flag up on the far side. So here's FC Cincinnati with Gibson. Smith, now the middle to Bone. McLaughlin, who has switched sides. Dispossessed the ball. Here comes Penn FC. Rezende plays it over to Paulo Jr. He brings it to the middle. Aaron Dennis with a chance from distance, but that was knuckling and bounced as he tried to swing, and he plays it well high.
Tough to get your hips out over that one, Brian, and bring it down to where it's going to be a real challenge. But again, they're firing from long range tonight, something that they clearly look to do from the beginning of this match. The one goal they scored was off of a set piece, but the constant pressure that they're bringing as a result of taking those shots from outside the 18 may yet pay dividends.
Aaron Dennis, the 25-year-old, played his college ball in Pennsylvania, down in Philadelphia, Villanova.
The nation's finest university, I might add.
I understand your bias. Aaron Dennis also was with NASL's Miami FC. There's a lot of these players in this Penn FC team spent time in the NASL a year ago. Throw-in coming up for FC Cincinnati as we're in the 51st minute. And the team that is in 13th place right now has the lead on the first place team in the USL's Eastern Conference by a 1-0 advantage. This is not necessarily something that FC Cincinnati is unaccustomed to. They're trailing 3-2 late in their last game against the 16th place team in the Eastern Conference, Toronto FC2. Before coming back and winning that game, Corbin Bone with a late brace in that contest to win it. Ball played by Penn FC to the neutral part of the field. Lasso turns, goes to Bone, who's stripped of the ball. Here comes Penn FC the other way. Dennis looking, has Paulo Jr. with some room over here on the left side. Paulo Jr. to the left foot, fires, slid out at play, and it will be last touched by Paulo Jr. on an excellent play by the captain, Dako Kanan.
And Dennis gave a very nice delivery there, nice through pass. Paulo just simply couldn't complete it.
Kanan with a brilliant slide that time that not only stopped the ball from getting through, but also was able to deflect it last off of Paulo Jr. Keenan has a bit of Premier League experience, played with Blackpool when they were still in the Premier League. Also has 27 caps for his native Israel. And now has found his way here to FC Cincinnati. Last touch, according to our official, by Penn FC. And they are going to have a conversation because Penn FC was very upset about that, and the linesman had it pointing the other way. And our center referee
go the other way.
Changed his mind. Ball put back into play, and Isaac Osei, who has been very aggressive, but sometimes recklessly so far in this game so far, with another challenge and a foul. So it will be a restart coming up, but we'll see the contact, and Osei definitely off balance coming in there. Getting a piece of Canaan. Long ball played up. Headed by Koenig into the corner. McLaughlin will chase and get there first. Trying to get up the sideline. Cannot keep it in, though, as he tried to get around Jake Bond and could not. So 1-0 Penn FC with the lead on FC Cincinnati. Next opponent for this Penn FC team will come up on Wednesday as the Pittsburgh Riverhounds will come to town. They have jumped out after halftime to a 2-0 advantage now on the Indy 11 early in the second half. Here's Paulo Jr. Trips over the ball, slips down on the sod, and now thinks about a shot and fires a knuckler wide and high to the right.
But again, they're firing from long range. Wednesday night, by the way, don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but looms as a very big match. You've got cross-state rival Pittsburgh Riverhounds coming in here for the Derby Cup. Whoever wins on Wednesday night takes the cup for the year. And fireworks for the fans, so a big night out here at FNB Field on Wednesday.
Keystone Derby will go to that final game. 2 games already played in Pittsburgh this year in that derby. Both scoreless draws. Penn FC would love to have the momentum they would get from beating FC Cincinnati if they can hold the result they have right now. They have the ball in the offensive third. This time a shot and a good save off the left foot of Aaron Dennis by Ritchie. And that is not normally the shot, the foot that he takes it with. He's normally a stronger right-footed player, but a tough shot with the left.
Struck that very well, and this is why that works. You can now get a set piece off the corner. Keeper not able to make a clean save, and oftentimes that's the case. You get that ball bouncing around in the box. You know what's going to happen off the rebound.
Book you're starting to see from teams on FC Cincinnati is that they sometimes do not close down. There wasn't a lot of room for Dennis to fire that one off, but he was able to get that one untouched by the defenders. And now a corner kick for Penn FC as a result. Benjavar bends it, looking back post, knotted away calmly and strongly by Kanan. Played all the way back to Calvano. He will send it right back to the right side, but too much mustard on that one as it goes over the end line for a goal kick for FC Cincinnati. Stay up to date with all the best from social media around the USL by watching Off the Post with Kelsey Steele every Friday evening on the USL social media channels. Also, to remind you, we brought this up at halftime, but Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock, another important announcement from USL. It's going to be made. Things always happening in the USL. Make sure you keep tuning into those social media channels. USL just tends to be everywhere. There you see Manu Ledesma. Quiet so far for the most part in this one. 13 goals, 15 assists. Unbelievable season he's had so far this season. The 30-year-old out of Argentina.
Offensive machine, both striking the ball, delivering the ball to other players, assist leader, goal scoring leader, really remarkable player on the offensive line.
And I love the fact that he has a single season record already in assists for a year with 15, with really, unless they would rest him down the stretch, you'd have to figure he's going to have opportunity to extend that record a lot more, especially the way they use him on set opportunities.
Several matches left to play. You can easily imagine him picking up several additional assists.
Here comes Penn FC. A little too much that time is Metzger. So the Penn FC man whistled for the foul. Penn FC is also, especially up front here in the second half, already in the opening 12 minutes plus, a little bit more physical in the back so far. This header glancing in the back. Ledesma gets there first, tries to get around Hawkins, and it should be a throw-in for FC Cincinnati. Paulo Jr. tried to win the ball. A couple of South Americans there, the Brazilian and the Argentine. Boehner finds the foot of Ledesma. Menjivar is there, and Hawkins in tight quarters clears to midfield.
Very tight quarters. I'm not sure I would have played the ball quite that way.
Lasso does well to get to Lahoud, as both teams pressuring the ball well on the defensive end. Good step initially by Venter, but a chance now opens up behind him. McLaughlin, Ledesma, shot with the left. Great save again from Sean Lewis. His second diving shot save of the night. And it keeps this one a 1-0 advantage for Penn FC.
Great save by the keeper there. You wonder what might have been the situation, or had he taken the shot right away. He's wide open. Just take it from there, but he turns it, looks at the corner.
Amazing,
save.
Amazing save that time from Sean Lewis. And I have to admit, when Ledesma turned it back to his favored left foot, I was getting my goal call ready because that was earmarked upper 90 and Lewis turns it aside. Ledesma will try to affect the game again here, and this one's headed up and over. As that is up and over by Koenig. The Dane unable to connect there on frame, and it will stay Penn FC with the advantage, but he snuck in there. Wedged between defenders that time to find an opening.
Yeah, he made that opportunity and tried to use his size, got his head on the ball, but not quite on frame.
Play Wheel of Fortune, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery for your chance at top prizes of $100 grand. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux as we're in the 60th minute. Almost 2/3 of the way through this contest tonight. On paper, most people would look at it and say, no, this should not be a problem tonight for the #1 team in the USL's Eastern Conference. But instead it is the home team and the number 13 team in the table on that side, Penn FC, with a 1-0 advantage right now. And FC Cincinnati whistled offside. Ledesma just in front after Bond slipped on the backside. That could have been a great opportunity that goes by the wayside.
And now into the 61st minute, begin to see the thing settling out here in the second half. The style of plays of both sides pretty well established for what we're going to see the rest of the second half.
Emery Welshman will be checking in for FC Cincinnati. And my prediction on who he would come in for is correct. Koenig on the card is the guy who comes off. So it will be Welshman, listed as a forward/midfielder. 26-year-old out of Ontario, making his 24th appearance of the year, and even 12-12 in starts and substitute appearances. He's got 3 goals and 4 assists for head coach Alan Koch. NFC with a good pressure. One, Osei shot, and it is wide. Excellent work, as we've seen Penn FC all game really pressure well in the back. And the ball deflected, I believe, off of Metzger. And it goes right to the foot of Osei, and he rushed his shot.
He's unhappy because he realized he had a lot of goal to shoot at there. And again, keeping that pressure created that situation. That back line of Cincinnati has been kept very, very honest tonight by the consistent pressure of Penn FC. It's worked very well for them.
Rosen last touches that one. You see Calvin there. Throw-in coming up from Matt Boehner. Tries to play it down the side and will win another throw-in. That ball is going to go onto the pitch, though, before Boehner can reset. So here comes FC Cincinnati in the offensive third. Thrown down to the byline. Lahoud tries to cross. hit with a back heel by Menjivar. Sloppy clearance, but finally done by Jake Bond. Gibson plays it up the left side. Here's a chance. Smith headed away by Venter. It'll be a corner kick for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was a little sloppy, Brian, and I worry a little bit about some of these back passes at the top of the box. They've got to be much more crisp if they're going to do that at all. I'm not sure you want to be doing that, but if they're going to, they've got to be crisp and they've got to be cleared cleanly.
They had a good look the last time, and Ledesma will take this one. Sends it near post. Osei is the only one there, no one rushing towards it. Blake Smith will give it right back to Ledesma, who'll send it back into the mix. Headed back out. Calvano got that one last. And it's going to be a throw-in coming up for FC Cincinnati. Ledesma will take, finds McLaughlin in the box, twisting. Venter able to chest it down. Bond plays it back out for another throw. It may be the most consistent pressure of the night so far for FC Cincinnati. And we're going to have another corner kick coming up for the visiting team. Blake Smith, you see him there, number 23, the left back, playing some good moments here, keeping the pressure on in an advanced position. Here's Ledesma. Outswinger from that far corner. Looking backside, nobody home initially. Chance to flick it back up by Gibson and headed away by Penn FC. Flip back over the top. Lewis is there. So much ado about nothing as far as Penn FC is concerned. And the clean sheet continues with the backup keeper for Penn FC.
Well, it's really been extraordinary in goal tonight, Brian. I mean, 2 spectacular saves and a good command of the back line.
Here comes Lahoud as the possession quickly given away by Penn FC. Smith on the opposite side has a lot of room, plays it centrally, and Bone had not started his run quickly enough. So Lewis will just backtrack, and Penn FC at this point is going to even try to play a little bit of the clock game this early, which you understand at least a little bit considering the pressure they've been under the last few minutes.
You understand it psychologically, but strategically, Brian, I got to say it's way, way, way too early. You can't maintain that for very long. And a team that's as offensively, lightning quick as Cincinnati and can score so, frequently and furiously, you got to be very, very careful. You got to keep the pressure on. That's what's made this match for them thus far. You want to keep that offensive pressure on, keep this back line of Cincinnati busy at work.
Richie under a little duress, able to play the ball back to midfield. Penn FC looking to control and finally does with Resend. Calvin goes up to the right side, pressured from behind. Now they have to be careful. When he sends in the middle, there's nobody rushing the middle, but cleared by Cannon. Outs.
It was looking for somebody to make a run and nobody did, but it was nicely played up until that point.
Now the ball's sent in the box. Once again, headed away by FC Cincinnati. NFC will continue the possession, though. Bond has Menjivar to his right. The talented right foot of Menjivar is over top of it. Looking, waiting. Now flicks it down towards Resend, who will cross. Looking backside. Dennis is there just outside the box. First touch betrays him, and Lahoud clears it away. Chance for the counter for FC Cincinnati, snuffed out by Hawkins. And Penn FC will once again bring it into the Cincinnati half. Here's Paulo Jr. The Brazilian is your goal scorer right now. Low driving cross, looking for Osei. Played back out to Dennis and now to Metzger. They'll switch it back over to the right side with Bond. Bond will turn. Again, working clock while they're keeping possession this time. The handoff there to Metzger. And the ball's going to play for a throw-in. Quick throw for Penn FC. Metzger thinks about crossing, does, and once he does, they step in and knock it over the far sideline for another Penn FC throw here in the 67th minute. Take a look at some of the Eastern Conference scores in just a moment, but we're going to have another substitution for FC Cincinnati. That's it for the night for Jimmy McLaughlin as he checks out of the game. And the very dangerous Naz Al-Badoui.
You got it. and they're bringing some fresh legs and some speed. They gave up a little bit of size in the previous substitution, but brought speed onto the field. You see what they're going to try to do here. I mean, this quick strike offense, we're going to get a look at. There's no question about that.
And also the third substitution and final one for FC Cincinnati also comes in as Kenny Walker replaces Michael LaHood. So here comes a chance for FC Cincinnati. That's a 4-on-2. Ledesma leading it. Over to the side. Welshman gets a shot off. Saved by Lewis, but returned by Ledesma to equalize.
We just talked about that speed, Brian. I mean, there you saw it, 4-on-2. Lewis makes a great save. There's nothing more he can do. And the rebound goes to Cincinnati, and now we're knotted up at 1.
Great initial save by Lewis again on Emery Welshman, but the numbers too much. And Ledesma, his 14th goal of the season, able to equalize this game here in the 68th minute. And for Ledesma, here's a guy who showed up today. This is a great story. There's a deaf fan from Philadelphia, a guy by the name of Paul Thiergartner, who contacted and let Ledesma and also Deco Kanan know he's an FC Cincinnati fan. He has followed those guys and is a fan because of them, would love to meet them tonight. And Ledesma got on social media and not only said, hey, not only are we going to sign something for you, I'm going to score a goal for you tonight. And he's done so here in the 68th minute. A great story for him, a great story for Paul Thiergartner. And not as great a story for Penn FC.
I wasn't going to be the killjoy and add that, Brian, but, you know, that's the unfortunate part of it. The interesting thing.
Hold on. Osei thought he got a foul in the box. It wasn't called. Paulo Jr. will send it in. Ball headed up as Penn FC immediately after that goal from FC Cincinnati trying to forge their advantage. We've got Metzger now to Paulo Jr. See what Penn FC can do here. Here's Metzger, steps over the ball but doesn't bring it with him, and Ledesma dispossesses him. Here comes Ledesma. FC Cincinnati, when they get the opportunity to switch the momentum in the game, they've done so well all season long. Now the long ball up to Welshman, who gets there before Calvano. Calvano eventually runs him down, but touches it last. Throw in corner kick coming up for FC Cincinnati.
On that Cincinnati goal, Brian, what was very interesting was they had built the attack so perfectly with the advantage on numbers, but when Lewis made the great save, Ledesma was the player that was at least ostensibly marked. He wasn't well marked. He had 2 Cincinnati players on the far side of the goal wide open. The rebound came to the short side, and unfortunately, the defender there did not mark as well as he should have. Ledesma gets the relatively easy goal.
And actually, it'll be Kenny Walker now who will take the restart. Looking near post, headed down and out by Menjivar. Will do it again. Kenny Walker instead of Ledesma taking the corners. They are all on that near post. 4 of them there for FC Cincinnati and a host of blue shirts marking them. Walker again will drive it near post. Lewis barely is able to get much on it, punching it away, but it's last touched by FC Cincinnati. So it will be a Penn FC goal kick.
Bunched up incredibly tight on that near post, and Cincinnati played it, relatively short. The problem, of course, is when you've got players bunched up, and you saw it there, Lewis has a very difficult time coming off of his line.
You saw Kenny Walker there. In his 3rd year with this FC Cincinnati team, was with the LA Galaxy for 4 years before that, was the team's MVP a year ago, a year where they made the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. This team in its 3rd year of existence. But they're 0-2 in the USL playoffs so far in their history, looking to change that this year. And here comes Welshman's speed again affecting the game, and all Penn FC can do is run him down at the last moment and force another corner kick. FC Cincinnati in the playoffs. A year ago, they were the 6th seed, really struggled. They made a deep run in the U.S. Open Cup a year ago, but they struggled in the regular season, got the 6th seed, and then got blown out at Tampa Bay, 3-0 to knock them out of the playoffs as Penn FC, Isaac Osei has played his game tonight. The first move from Raul Voss is to bring in Lucky Kasana.
Little scoring punch here. Brian, did not start tonight, has been a mainstay of the Penn FC offense through most of the year.
The 5th of his 25 appearances on the season off the bench. Ball back post. Bond heads it away. Cassano with those fresh legs gets there first. Plays it high and long. Cassano, the leading goal scorer for this Penn FC team on the year with 10 of them. FC Cincinnati not satisfied yet. They've equalized here in the second half. Now they're looking to try to extend the 7-game winning streak. Ball played long, looking for Ledesma, posting up inside, flicks it high, couple dribbles, and finally 3 different Penn FC players are required to neutralize Manu Ledesma.
It says something, Brian, that 30 matches into the season, your leading scorer has 10 goals. And I think that's been one of the difficulties for Penn FC this year, is manning a consistent attack with a consistent group of players.
Poor communication in the middle for Penn FC, almost gives it away and does force them to scramble on the possession. And here comes Menjivar here in the 73rd minute. Menjivar turns up the left side. Paulo Jr. looking to play him down the side, and he does. Here's Menjivar on his left foot, crosses, looking for Lucky, and instead it's headed clear to the near side by Lasso. Get an inside look at life on and off the field from a player's perspective every Wednesday evening in the latest edition of From the Pitch on USLsoccer.com. Paulo Jr. with it for Penn FC into the box. Menjivar, a rare shot from him, gets blocked. Headed back into the Penn FC end. We're 1-1 here in the 74th minute, Penn FC and FC Cincinnati. Hawkins, the left back, advances into the offensive half. Tries to flick it for Paulo Jr., who'll go down the corner. Boehner sheltering it all the way over. And over the end line for a goal kick. Let's look at some of the other scores going on. New York Red Bulls 2 has equalized their game with the Charlotte Independence. They're about the same place we are. Pittsburgh up 2-0 on the Indy 11. Louisville City now up 2-0 on Ottawa. And Tampa Bay Rowdies and Richmond Kickers are at halftime in a 0-0 contest there. Earlier today, Bethlehem Steel a 4-0 winner over Toronto FC. Welshman got away with a push there that Calvano did not get the benefit of. So it'll be a goal kick for Penn FC regardless, and Calvano scowlingly looks at our head referee. See Sean Lewis, his dreams of a clean sheet dashed by that Ledesma goal, as our possession stats exactly the same as they were at halftime. Cincinnati slightly ahead, 53% to 47%. But it has been productive possession here in the second half for FC Cincinnati, as they have equalized the Paulo Jr. goal with an Manu Ledesma goal of their own.
And Lewis did everything he could on that play. I don't think you could have asked much more from him.
He's made 3 fantastic saves in this game, and unfortunately the third one, the rebound was not cleared by any of his teammates, and it went to the foot of Ledesma, who made his 14th goal of the season as a result. And here's FC Cincinnati, again looking to play the ball against the Penn FC back line. And I think the question you also have to ask here, Charlie, if you're Penn FC, the ball flicked long and Ritchie has to come out. It slowed down enough and he had to play it before Cassano could do anything with it. We'll get to that question in a moment after Penn FC's rush here forward. Ball right side of the box. And down goes Aaron Dennis. And a goal kick coming up. The question I was going to ask, Charlie, is if you're Penn FC right now, you're in a 1-1 game. And I know that FC Cincinnati is the top team, and it would look great if you tie this game. But realistically, do you change things up and go for the win here because of your situation in the table?
You go for the win. I don't think there's any question what the answer to that question is, Brian. They need 3 points tonight. There's nothing really to be gained from a draw here, and particularly given the flavor and texture of this game, they had an opportunity to take it home. I think they still do, but they've got to press everything for it. I mean, I'd pull the goalie, as it were, or, you know, 4th down territory in football. You really pull all the stops out, switch up everything you can, bring as many people forward as you can, and figure that, you know, you'll take your chances.
Penn FC wins the ball back from FC Cincinnati. Here comes Hawkins into the offensive half. Square ball played for Metzger, who will switch the point of attack over to Dennis on the right side of the box. Aaron Dennis leaves it off. Calvin Resend has it towed away from him over the end line. Corner kick, Penn FC. This should be Menjivar stepping forward to take this one. The question ends up being, do we see a substitution at some point from Raul Voss of a forward or midfielder for a defender at some point? Is he willing to make that sort of a move, or does he think they can create with the group out here? Here's one chance. Menjivar, here's a head, and it goes right up into the crowd as opposed to towards net. Calvano may have been the guy to get a head on that one. Cassano was also in the area.
Got the ball delivered where they wanted it and how they wanted it. The header just leaned back a little bit and up into the crowd. Nevertheless, I mean, you want these situations, Brian. That's how you create opportunities, and not everyone is going to be right on goal. I think that one came off Cassano.
It hit Ledesma off Cassano, and that's why it took the awkward direction that it did. So Lasso plays it long into the Penn FC end. Sean Lewis is there without a trouble. How well do you know the USL? Test your knowledge in USLsoccer.com's weekly picks competition every week against experts from across the USL. And this time of the year, that's sort of a picks competition. You got lots of games, and lots of games that mean something to all the teams that are around. Talking about the Eastern Conference specifically, this Penn FC team, 13th place, just 6 points out of a playoff spot right now.
I mean, so many squads fighting for playoff spots, which is what you want to see at this point in the season. You know, it makes for good fan participation, etc. A lot of excitement, but every match now looming very large.
Calvano wearing the captain's armband, dispossessed the ball, and here comes Kenny Walker. Drops it off. Ledesma trying to get there. Hawkins got there too, and a foul called behind the play as Walker was pulled down. They wanted a quick restart with Bone initially, but Walker was trying to argue who had fouled him. As we're going to see behind the play, he wants a card on Menjivar, who obstructed him. He's not going to get the card. What they will have is the free kick.
Not quite into the offensive third, but too darn close, Brian. This is a dangerous situation.
Now, when you see number 45 standing over the ball, anything seems dangerous. And that is Ledesma once again. Walker took the last couple corners, but now the talented left foot of the Argentine will go up to take this restart. Chips backside, headed towards net, but wide of the mark.
Pretty nicely played. Not on target.
That effort was just wide that time. The opportunity from Lasso, I believe, was the one who had gone forward to make that one. So we have about 10 minutes plus stoppage time left to go. 1-1 Penn FC and FC Cincinnati. Ryan Kaiser here along with Charlie Giroux. Glad you could come out tonight, watch with us on this one here on ESPN Plus. It's been a very spirited contest between two teams that don't have a ton of history. And after tonight's contest, unless Penn FC is able to squeeze their way into the playoffs, we'll have no further history with FC Cincinnati entering the MLS a year from now.
And they look ready, Brian. I mean, this group has really done a fantastic job. A gigantic fan base, as you know, and they travel well. They've got fans out here tonight. You know,
the organization is top class. There's no question about that. Here's the answer to the previous question, and that is Calvano will come out. Haruna Shaibu will come in the game for Penn FC, his 7th appearance of the season. This will be his 4th one off the bench. Shaibu is listed as a defender, but he is one who is willing to play more forward at times. I don't know that he's a natural defender, but at 6'4" is quite the target in the box as well.
Brings some size and some speed across from that back line, and is an offensive threat, and that's what they want here. Here we go.
Here comes Metzger, finds Dennis, has the ball caught up in his feet, can't come up with it, but Smith is called for the foul, helping him to the ground.
And again, from a dangerous spot on the field. I mean, these set pieces and restarts for Penn FC are real opportunities. They scored off of one earlier. Look for them to do it again. I mean, this is where the game really gets interesting.
At the end there, as the ball, Dennis couldn't find the handle on it, and as he did, the foot of Smith got in there, clipped the ankle. This is a place where normally Menjivar takes it, but if you've got somebody who can crack one from here, this is not a bad place to do it. About 25 yards out from goal. Spencer Ritchie in the FC Cincinnati net, trying to position his mates with the wall. It is Menjivar, which implies that this is probably going to be chipped back post. Shaibu is one of the players who's back there. Menjivar sends him in motion, chips it, backside, nobody home. And the ball goes harmlessly over everybody over the end line. Not Menjivar's best effort. And he's had plenty of good ones this year.
He has. A little long on that one, and as you say, without much trouble or turmoil whatsoever over the end line. You just don't want to miss out on his opportunities. They don't come that quickly, and that's a perfect spot on the pitch to take that from.
Menjivar, 41 caps for El Salvador in his international career. Desma turns, looks long. Bone is making a run. He's on the left side of the box. Tries to chip it back. Deflected, and Penn FC will recover it. Dennis loses it though. Bone, a shot and a goal. A heartbreaker there, and Corbin Bone, who did it on Saturday against Toronto FC2, has done it here to Penn FC. His goal has put FC Cincinnati ahead, 2-1.
You've got to watch this on the replay, and you'll see how heartbreaking it is.
Nothing Sean Lewis can do. The giveaway in the back from Penn FC, as Dennis just double teamed. Ball goes right to Bone and makes no mistake about it. For Corbin Bone, the unassisted goal, his 9th of the season. The man who just turned 30 a week ago has found his scoring touch in his old age.
A giveaway that should not have occurred, and a rocket to the corner that Lewis could not do anything with. I mean, he made his best effort. He's been, stalwart in the goaltending. He really has stood up very, very well. And so now the pressure is really, really, really on Penn FC.
And Kasana called for the foul behind. And the Zimbabwean looks at our referee and says, I don't think so. Of course, the referee
thought so.
Thought so. So Ritchie will take his time coming up over top of this one. And for Penn FC, a team that was up, playing tremendously in that first half, up on Paulo Jr.'s goal in the 33rd minute. But they have, just as so many opponents have this year to FC Cincinnati, have found themselves behind in the second half when it matters most. Goals by Ledesma and Bone. Both of them unassisted have given FC Cincinnati the 2-1 advantage. Still time left for the home team, but they must scramble now. And Raul Voss has one more card he needs to play, and he is approaching our 4th official now to do so.
They're into the 86th minute. Time is an enemy at this point.
My guess, Walter Ramirez will probably be the sub with his talented left foot. Here comes Welshman, who's been a trouble since he's gotten in the game. He was actually the guy who got the initial shot that was saved by Lewis, that was rebounded into the net for the first goal by Ledesma. Lewis will quickly put it back into play. Long ball played up. Bond gets there first. Around Smith he goes, plays it centrally. Kasana turns, cannot get by. Dako Kanan. And Penn FC will have to hold up as this final substitution is going to be made now. And it will be Prince Baffo who checks in the game. And it will be for Jake Bond. Baffo, another one of the Ghanaians, making his 15th appearance of the year, the 11th one off the bench, and immediately gets the ball and crosses it. Lucky near post, heads it down. Corner kick as it's last touched by FC Cincinnati. The other thing that Baffo does, he does give you somebody who can rip shots from long range, which may be necessary tonight. Ball sent by Menjivar. Headed. Chance of the back post, no, and Paulo Jr. almost had to brace to equalize.
That was right there. Really well played.
He
is good head on the ball.
He is sneakily good in the air at 5'6", and nobody from FC Cincinnati expected it. Ledesma just let him get up clean, not expecting him to have a chance.
That's exactly what happened. I think he didn't think he could take it out of the air. He did, made a good quick cut inside, and there but for the grace of God.
Punt goes up, or the goal kick goes up the field. NFC heads it high in the air. They're down 2-1. Need something to happen quickly. Try to salvage a point off of this game. Baffo cuts centrally. Now plays it with some space on the outside. Resend will cross into the box, headed by Lasso clear. Menjivar heads it wide. Smart move there as there's a little bit of room there for Hawkins. Now to Metzger, back to Hawkins. His left foot into the box. Flicked forward by Paulo Jr., one as a corner. Last touch by Boehner. FC Cincinnati trying defensively to hold on in this one. We're down 1-0 at halftime, finding themselves now in the lead 2-1. Menjivar into the center of the pitch. Sent right back in. Resend's volley is excellent, but just wide.
He ripped that volley, but wide of the post.
Take a look again at this one as they headed it clear. Nobody stepping to Resend right away, and he got all of this one.
That's a full volley. I mean, he didn't take that off the pitch. He ripped that, and that's on that shot.
A little bit wider than what I thought initially from our vantage point here high atop FNB Field, but still a lot of power on that one. Here comes Penn FC. Baffo tries to get through, cannot squeeze all the way. Resend tracks it down, out-muscled, and here comes a counterattack to try to finish it off for FC Cincinnati. Welshman flips it far side, hits our referee. Walker slides, does not get all of it, and here comes an opportunity with numbers for the home team. Into the last minute of regulation. Paulo Jr. over to Aaron Dennis. Crosses backside, nobody home yet for Penn FC. Metzger will track it down. Baffo outside the box. Looks, brings it back to his right, has a little room, fires, deflected, and cleared. Throw-in coming up for Penn FC. And they're going to force them to retake the throw. It wasn't where it was intended to be. Shaibu. Goes over to Menjivar, back to Shaibu. He'll swing it back over here. We'll take a look at how many minutes. It looks like 3 minutes of stoppage time is what's on the board from our fourth official. Shaibu, it is. Chip forward, it is 3 minutes of stoppage time. That's how much time Penn FC has. They lose the ball here to Bone. Shaibu steps in front of a pass. Loses it right back. Ball sent long all the way back to Lewis. Here comes Penn FC once again, down 2-1. Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux. Penn FC trying one last time to equalize. Baffo crosses into the box. It goes over Richie's head. Nobody there for Penn FC initially. Here comes Paulo Jr. Toes it back. Menjivar looks, shot, headed away. It got past the keeper, and behind him was Lasso to save it. Still not out of danger, and now Gibson heads it clear. Resend keeps it in. Pressure not relieved completely. Looking, Dennis falls down the box. Nothing called, nothing warranted. Hawkins will head it forward once again and cleared back in the Penn FC side. Some great action, but nothing happening for Penn FC. Lasso, a saving header to keep this 2-1.
Everything Penn FC could have asked for except the goal. Keeper out of position, and there's the save of the game.
And it was not by a keeper in this one, it was by Forrest Lasso. Instead, here's Paulo Jr., low cross. Lucky was making the move, and Richie gets on top of it before he can get there.
Only about 90 seconds left in this match, and Penn FC has really pressed the attack here, but They've got to get the ball back and mount a quick attack.
Scrambling offense from Penn FC, and they have really turned the screws here in the last couple minutes of action. Ledesma almost and does now take it away from Venter, chips it forward, Bone trying to finish it, tips it, and Lewis is there. Quickly looking to go the other way. About a minute left to go in this one. Baffo for Penn FC down the right side. Metzger, he'll cross. Not his best, but Menjivar heads it forward. Dennis can't get there, and it's cleared up to midfield. Throw-in coming up for Penn FC. Chance to try one last time to get the equalizing goal. Hawkins chips it forward. Dennis down on the ground. Smith clears it away. Was unable to keep his footing inside. Paulo Jr. He's been the most dangerous player. He has the goal. He's got it at his right foot right now. Baffo will have to scramble to get it. Very short on time. Smith clears it up to midfield. Will there be one more chance? Penn FC to throw in. Shaibu looking.
You better hustle.
The throw in coming up front. Into the box. Baffo headed into the box. Metzger turns, fires wide. And that'll do it. FC Cincinnati, who trailed 1-0 at halftime, comes all the way back and wins their 8th straight game by a 2-1 win tonight over Penn FC.
This really, Brian, is beyond disappointing. This is heartbreaking. Penn FC played what we said was their best half of the season. In that first half, took a 1-0 lead into the locker room, came out, continued to press the attack. Cincinnati gets a goal, and then a defensive lapse, the thing that has hurt them so badly through the season, and a point-blank shot against Lewis, who played marvelously in goal tonight. And Cincinnati walks out of here with a win, and Penn FC comes up with no points in a critical time for them in terms of their playoff hunt.
And their 3rd straight loss here at FNB Field. As a result of this one, FC Cincinnati, their 8th straight win, 18th straight game that they do not lose, as they are unbeaten in that stretch of games all the way back to May when they lost to Louisville City. And they will continue that string as they go to play against Richmond next on Wednesday. But Penn FC, a great effort tonight from the home team, but it's not enough. They lose by a score of 2-1 to FC Cincinnati. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here from Harrisburg. It's Penn FC falls short 2-1 to FC Cincinnati. Back after this on ESPN+.
All across Pennsylvania, families are living their lives in their own homes. Not long ago, none of these families believed it possible. And then they discovered there was someone who could help. What was once only a dream is now a reality. Welcome home.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law. But more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
Tiger! It's in! There it is! 2-0 orange and blue! Now setting up the right score! And it's in! Does it again! Saved by Newman! Spagenberg with a diving save! Putting on a show today!
And welcome back here to FNB Field here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Brian Kaiser along with Charlie Giroux. That's the traveling fans. FC Cincinnati fans happy tonight. They come here on the road, and despite being down at the half, end up winning this one 2-1 in a heartbreaking game for the home team. But something we said off air, there's a reason that FC Cincinnati is first in the table and that Penn FC is 13th in the table right now in the Eastern Conference, and this game might be a microcosm of that.
It was very evident tonight, Brian. Penn FC, I think, played very, very well in the first half. Played with a little less intensity in the second, maybe they were tired, but in the second half you just saw the dominance of that Cincinnati side. They are a really, really good team.
Well, let's take a look at our highlights for this game, and there were many of them. Penn FC in the 33rd minute. Hawkins heads the ball over to Paulo Jr. His 4th goal of the season put Penn FC up 1-0 at the half. Things were good at that point for the home team, but it was FC Cincinnati who had some opportunities the other way. Ledesma with a great shot, and Sean Lewis, tremendous save as that was earmarked for the upper 90, but there's only so much we're going to do. A 4-on-2 break. Welshman off the bench with a rip of a shot, and the initial save made, but nobody cleaned up, and Ledesma able to make his 14th goal of the season.
Rebound came short side. Ledesma right there. Point blank range.
And then here's the game winner as Aaron Dennis came back to help out. Got double team dispossessed, and Corbin Bone, perfect placement in the side netting to beat Lewis and to put FC Cincinnati up 2-1. And just perfect shot that time over top of the outstretched arms of the aforementioned Lewis, who made another great save there. That was from the first half where he seemed to be everywhere. But this was the save of the night, and it was not by a keeper. It ends up being off of Menjivar's foot, and it next finds Lasso's head as opposed to his keeper, because his keeper was beat.
Keeper was
and the
beat.
defender was able to keep that one out of the net. That would have equalized late. And right now, they are down there taking a picture. We had talked earlier about Manu Ledesma and also Dako Kanan. Paul Tiergartner, who is a fan who is deaf. He is from Philadelphia, and he came up specially for this game. And Manu Ledesma promised to score him a goal on social media. He does so. He's down there getting things signed right now. It's a great story for FC Cincinnati, and a great story for the league as well, Charlie, because you see that the league is expanding a lot more. Social media allowing these sort of interactions to happen, and these players very willing to do things like this. And you see this with all these teams as we see our final stats.
It's wonderful. It's what sports is all about, Brian. The heartwarming stories really, bring fans to the game, create much more interest in the game, and allow people to see the humanity of the players, which I think is so important. A really, really nice gesture tonight on the part of the Cincinnati side, and unfortunately didn't work too well for Penn FC.
Well, you look at our game stats, and when you look at them, this was an even game, and the only thing deciding this one was FC Cincinnati was able to finish off one more of their chances. Penn FC out shooting them 17-11, and because of their flurry at the end, we're able to get the possession back up to 50-50 for the end of the game. But a great contest for these two teams. Penn FC, they've got to win out now to have any chance to make the playoffs, and it starts this Wednesday, 6:30 start time. We'll be right back out here at FNB Field. www.pennfc.com for tickets for the final leg of the Keystone Derby with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC.
They do. They've got to win out, Brian. They've really just got to shake off tonight, say we played well, we didn't come out with a win or any points, go in against that Pittsburgh side, get a W, and then the schedule gets a lot less intense than it has been. And we knew that this three-team run through Louisville, Cincinnati, and then Pittsburgh was going to be very, very tough. It now comes down to Pittsburgh, cross-state rivals, the Keystone Derby on the line, but most important, 3 points up for grabs.
FC Cincinnati can clinch the #1 seed overall this Wednesday at Richmond, but they still have 3 more games after that if they don't get it done there. They improve on the season to 21-3-6. And for Penn FC, they drop their 3rd straight. And unfortunately for the home team, their record now stands at 9-13-8. and they have those 4 games left to go to try to claw their way into that final playoff spot. Well, that's going to do it from here for everyone involved with our broadcast tonight. Great job by our camera crew tonight, getting you the great shots from this game. Very competitive matchup tonight. For my colleague Charlie Giroux, this is Brian Kaiser saying good evening from FNB Field, where FC Cincinnati defeats Penn FC by a 2-1 final. And you watched it here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent